So even though I find the concept of psychosis to be dubious, it is helpful to just kind of like put a label on some of the experiences I have. And I have a couple of different like diagnoses, and each one has like a different type of psychosis. And as I was talking about CPTSD, it was just like, oh, CPTSD psychosis, you psychotic bitch. And I'm like, not right now, but okay, we can talk about it. Like, I think the psychosis from my CPSD pops up in that I think that I am in situations that I was in the past. Like in one of my lives, I was like, someone stealing my bras. And it's like, bitch, no one's stealing your bras. They're literally in the wash. And I'm like, no. But the reason I feel that way is because that shit happened. That shit was happening to me for a long time, that people were stealing articles of my clothing and ritualizing them or just being creepy with them, like my undergarments specifically, but other articles of clothing. This motherfucker stole one of my favorite hoodies. He's probably out here getting bitches with it with his dumb ass. Amazing at other things. But bitch, you don't know what fucking calculus is. Let me my shit back. I didn't even get to touch his winky. I'm upset about that. But yeah, so so what happens is that I do get into those mindsets sometimes that I'm like in the same place with the same person, or like the same situation is unfolding when it really isn't. And it's like not necessarily one where I'm like seeing things, because an element of psychosis is not necessarily um like I get delusional that like certain things that happened in the past are happening in the present. And there's a degree of like, it's, I feel like partially it's okay that I think that's happening because it's like defending me against it happening again. But bitch, no, it's not. I'm just weird. And so I'm trying to get more into a headspace of like being like, of saying like, I'm sorry that I overreacted, but this was like very similar to something that was very traumatic for me. And um, I now see the truth, and I'm deeply embarrassed by my behavior, and I would like another opportunity to approach the situation again. But I'm bitch made. I don't be doing that. And there's also an element. There's also an element of like, even though right the situation is different, why are you acting in a weird way that would even make me think that that's what's happening? Like I had a situation with someone where I accused them of being like a government contractor who was hired to like steal information from me. And in hindsight, they still could be. But I also know that that's my CPTSD talking, right? And my thing is, if you're not a government contractor who was sent to steal my information, why are you acting like one? And then I know that, like, from my personal perspective, having been in an environment surrounded by a whole bunch of, like, weird government and military contractors, and then just random weird, like, state agents and shit who just come towards me and steal information, that sometimes, because that's all I know, that I've been in this, like, weird pit of like spies, that I just act like a weird psyop chaos agent, right? Because literally that's how everyone around me acts, and I'm a product of my environment, so I get that to a degree. And then I also understand that people might move in that way because they have other secrets or things to lose. And I'm starting to, grapple with that. But at the end of the day, it's like if you are exhibiting signs and behaviors, it doesn't really matter. It does matter because people don't like to be called something that they're not, right? But if your actions and behaviors are so similar to that experience that I'm feeling that way, it's like I need to extradite myself from that situation. And I'm trying to get better of doing so quietly, but then there's also this energy of people want closure. And it's like sometimes I can't offer that closure in that moment because in that moment I'm still so fucking triggered by the fact that um I've been like placed into this, because it's not just like a like, oh, it reminds me of that. Like when you have PTSD, and there's like a difference between, you know, having a memory or recognizing a pattern, um or like seeing similarities and then being triggered. If someone is moving in a way that is so like intense that I am triggered into like dull eyed, like heart rate, cycling memories, flashbacks, and shit, I don't need to be in that energy. And then there's this energy where it's like I am responsible for how I handle my own triggers and stuff. And so sometimes that requires a lot of space for me to kind of like orient myself into the reality and the truth of the moment so that I can move forward in a way that's like not crazy. Not saying that I'm allowing this person to have like close access to me, because sometimes that's ridiculous. But like, I don't know. I found myself like trying to like push out people who like engage these like incredible responses in me, and I realized my boundaries were like well intentioned but too strict, because I have to like move in the world around these people. You know, like these people are like fine with other people. It's like other people do not have the deep well of very specific, very intense trauma that I have. So of course they're going to be able to navigate the world with other people, and I don't think that they're like a danger to any other people. I think that there's like healing in myself that needs to be done so I can better show up in these situations. But like I can't really get that healing like if that person's right there looking at me being like, why are you talking about it? And it's like, I'm talking about it because I'm crazy, motherfucker. I'm well documentedly crazy, motherfucker. And it's like I can't like handle um the judgment and the perception in the moment while I'm healing from it. But then after I'm healed, like I find myself like unblocking some people after a period of time. Some of y'all are blocked forever, and I know you're still watching this shit, bro. But like those are more so about like safety and like comfort, right? Um, my nervous system cannot relax around some people no matter how much work I do. And I'm honestly really doing the work. And like some situations, I've been working on it for years, and it's not getting any better. In certain situations, like you would think that I'd be way more fucked up about it, but like I still feel like really calm around people who had me fucked up because of like certain patterns and certain histories. But like if I feel like there's an opportunity where we could like one day sit in the same room without like crashing out, I'm gonna try to do my best to like get myself into a headspace where and like a mind space where that can happen. Um, Even if it is difficult, um, because I really do want to kind of like operate from an internal place of peace. And the more people who I can just allow to just exist in the periphery of my environment while I kind of can remain like centered and calm, the stronger that I get. Um, and I just have to accept that because of my trauma and these types of delusions and psychosis that I have, there are ways that I'm just gonna have to learn how to navigate that and not let my delusional mind determine my actual reality. And it's a process, bitch. Lord knows it's a process. Sometimes I'm so sorry. But at the same time, I did low key mean that shit. Because sometimes I'm psychic and I'm right, bitch. But, like, that doesn't really matter.